I was going to ask about Alex, because that's one thing when I was watching your videos. You're a huge Alex Albon fan, to anybody who doesn't know. You literally love the man. You worship him. You've probably got a shrine behind the camera or something.
All hail.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
But I was just wanted to ask, like, I know obviously why you love Alex, because he's local to you, isn't he? And he's in the area, and he just seems like a really nice, down-to-earth guy. So what do you think about him getting dropped from Red Bull for Perez?
Yeah, I mean, look, I understand the decision. I said this before numerous times. Taking my own bias out of it, if I was Red Bull, I would have signed Sergio. I would have, because a driver of Sergio's caliber being available, and you've got a driver who, didn't have a good season, hasn't proven themselves in that. I completely understand, and if I was Red Bull and I wasn't me, if I was Helmut Marko, I would have made that decision as well. Yeah. So, look, again, I think being a West Ham fan, it teaches you to have a degree of understanding and respect for the situation, which rarely goes your way. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't make it easy for myself, boys. Like, I could have just picked Lewis Hamilton, but I was like, no, I'm gonna follow Alex out, because actually Lewis is closer. Technically, he grew up in Stevenage. I grew up in Romford, which is like 30 miles away. Yeah. Colchester's actually a bit further away than that, but anyway, I get the decision. I think he would have got the Alpha Tauri seat if it wasn't for Tsunoda, but obviously, and I love Yuki as well. I think he's a great driver. He's my favourite F2 driver last year. I'm definitely going to be rooting for him. But again, obviously, fantasy? I don't. I don't do fantasy, because fantasy does my head in. I don't know. It does my head in.
Do you do fantasy football or not?
I don't do fantasy football. It does my head in. It does my nut in, man.
Oh, no. We're gonna have to disagree.
I'm sorry, because I watch a game and I'm rooting for someone I don't even fucking like. I'm like rooting for Man United because I want fucking Rashford to score. And I'm like, what am I doing?
Nah.
And then I just get annoyed every time. I'm like this innocuous, like some random player for fucking Watford gets sent off, and then I'm pissed off.
Because no one wants to see Brighton versus Watford or etc. No one wants to watch that. But it's in your fantasy. If your striker's in your fantasy, you're rooting for him.
I've been heartbroken. I'm not heartbroken. I've been disappointed too many times with fantasy to like, I can't be asked anymore. And also the amount of times I forget, and then it's 1 week in, and I'm like,
three
what's the point?
Players. I've got like three red injured players in my fantasy. Pretty sure Virgil's still in my fantasy, for God's sake.
To be fair, I did do F1 fantasy, but I didn't like keep track on it at all. I set it up because I was like, this is interesting.
I don't see the point of it, because I'm a relatively casual F1 fan. I'm going to be honest. But
extremely casual.
F1 fantasy to me just seems like, right, you have so much money, you pick Lewis, you pick Verstappen, and then spend your money on 2 duds. What's the point? Because you only get 4 races, I've heard. So like,
I mean, I don't know. It is. I guess it is kind of more of a clear-cut thing with F1, but then you could argue the same to an extent with football. Not to the same extent, but still to an extent.
I get the point. Or you bank on, or you pick 4 midfield races, and you may accumulate more points than Hamilton.
But then I suppose like you've got Pierre Gasly, who probably bringing in well loads of points. He's like the Thomas Souček of fantasy league.
I knew Souček was going to come up.
Of course he was. Come on. I haven't got much to be happy about as a West Ham fan.
What about this one? What about the elbow? Yeah.
Don't fucking please. Mike Dean Bellend. I like there was a collective disdain of like, that was a bad decision. Everyone agreed that was a joke.
Yeah, the memes were out in full force, weren't they?
They were very much so.
You know what? Actually, last podcast I chose Souček as my Premier League Team of the Year, and they laughed at me, Tommo. So
yes, because you're delusional.
No, no.
Well, he's not now, is he?
No, I've got backup.
Yeah, all right.
I've got backup, mate. Yeah. I've got backup.
I mean, there's still a bit to go, but his red card has been rescinded, so he will be playing.
No, his form. I can't deny his form. It's just the fact that Monty picked him for the Team of the Year. I can't get my head around. But I appreciate Souček being a very good player.
Wait, when did you pick him in Team of the Year? At the start of the season?
No, we've just done a Team of the Year for 2020.
Oh, right, sorry. I thought you meant like a prediction team.
No.
He's got to be up there.
Bro, that's a video idea now.
Who else is that going to be? Yeah, that's right. Who's going to be in that like CDM kind of role? You've got like
Fabinho, I think.
Yeah, Fabinho.
Or Henderson.
Gave away that penalty though, didn't he?
Yeah, well, it was pre-recorded after he did that. So
fair enough.
Oh no, yeah. So we were on we got sidetracked a bit there.
Yeah, from Alex, didn't we?
From Alex, we're on Alex. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, look again. He would have got the Alpha Tauri seat, but Tsunoda and the Honda connection, I understand. You know, he hasn't had the chance like Kvyat did, like Pierre did, to get dropped from a Red Bull and then prove themselves. Because look, he was put into that Red Bull seat in his rookie season still. It was a lot for the lad to take on against Max Verstappen, who, again, the calibre of Max, I think, can't be underestimated. A team that's very much, you know, it is built around him. We understand that. That is the thing. But ultimately, like, I think, you know, as long as he's racing, it's good. And obviously, he's got that tyre connection, the fact that Red Bull is partially tyre owned, which can only stand him in good stead. Look, it just is a factor.
It just does, yeah.
Yeah, of course it does. And I'm hopeful that, because I think I don't think Pierre's going to be in that Red Bull family for much longer. I really don't. I think, like, clearly he must have burned some bridges. I know Paul di Resta kind of touched on it. He must have burned some bridges at Red Bull because, like, there seems to be absolutely not even a shred of, no matter how good his performances are, that he's getting that Red Bull seat. So I reckon if Pierre does go, then Alex would hopefully come back in, because I would love to see it. But I'm not going to lie as well. Like, the drivers I'm supporting at the minute are, you know, Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Norris. They're kind of the big three, and Gasly as well. I really like Pierre. But it will be nice, because then it's not like my support for Alex. I was super invested in Alex. Like, I would be nervous as fuck before every race, because I just knew something bad was going to happen, and most of the time something bad did happen. So it's
I think I could pick up from most of your videos that you were very emotional towards Alex, and you always had that emotional connection.
Yeah,
which I didn't.
For sure.
I think it didn't really cloud your judgment, but like, I think it didn't help you in the season, did it? It didn't help you enjoy it as much.
No. I completely agree. Like, in terms of the anxiety around races, like, in some ways, when a race started and he had a really bad start, like at Monza, for example, where he just fell right down, part of me was like, well, at least I can just enjoy the battle at the front and I don't have to worry about Alex being part of it and getting punted off by Lewis for a second time, for example. Because that hurt.
If he'd done it again, it'd have been a hat trick. But
don't.
I think Alex got his own back a little bit. Like, I think he's stuck his elbows out with Lewis a bit more than maybe he would have with other drivers.
But what's mad to think is, if that hadn't have happened, particularly the Austria one, obviously Brazil, end of the season, would have been a great way to end the season. But the Austria one, where he definitely had the tyres, he had the pace, he would have won that race. I've got no doubt if he'd have got past Lewis there. Imagine how, you can never know, but the confidence he would have got from that result, I still think he would have been way off Verstappen for the rest of the season, but that could have made a big difference in how the season played out, but it didn't. Ultimately, it cost him his seat. I think that move, like you say, if he gets the confidence from that, he goes on and he wins maybe 2 or 3 races that season. Maybe keeps his seat. But or just more consistent, because that's the thing. It wasn't even that, he got the couple of podiums, but just there were so many results that were just he was really low down the order. And just if it's consistently 5th, 6th, like, it's not amazing, it's not where it should be, but it's still getting those points in, and you just didn't do that often enough for Red Bull to justify keeping him.